I bring my thing down here, I can see it better. Okay. 1 second. Okay, it said Im Tagvia Kanesher Misham Ariducha. He says, Babir Inyan Pasuk Im this Pasuk Im Tivne Kanesher Tigve Kanesher V'im Kain V'im Bain Kochavim Sim Kinacho Misham Aridecha. Hamuva B'Sifra the Tzniut the concept what we're talking about here now. Ray Babira Meshula the Fiel Rizal says what? Sheniz Boyach Al Pi Hadras Melech. The pasuk Zera Arecha Besod Achizus Rosh HaKlipos B'Kedusha. That's what it's talking about. The Rosh of the Klipa holding on to the Kedusha. Lezecha Hamba B'Sifra the Tzniut the Kan. The Afal Gab Shemem Shalos Bale Hadinim. Rotsa the his gaver mekoich achizes a klipa canal. Afilu hachi, so in other words, that helps power them. Afilu hachi the amber pesofa pasuk sham misham oridach nuhum havai. V'niz batach memshalas bali adenim v'lo tuchul his gaver od reba ha'arush sham ba'orech. So there's more to be said about that. That's the general idea, is to get rid of the klipos that are trying, he says, this concept of getting the rosh of the klipos to get a hold. Number bet. He says, Reba or Yochai, look over there, Sham. Shabir Khan the Fidarko, so he's explaining over here. The Iri Khan Bishas is order this or Kesser, that's what we're talking about here, the arousal of the light of the Kesser, that is the Eric Anpin. The Oz Ein Yucholos the Gavos Ein Naim the Amon Bifne Am or HaKesser, that is that light shines, is what he's talking about. Talking about what? The eyebrows. He's so or HaKesser. Mistalkin Besod Baruch L'chol El Makomacho, so run for your life, I guess run for yourselves to the place you belong, to your place. Ein Sham. V'lezecha P'bir Kan Oz, and explains this further. Hikamo Kain, not just like this. Kokos adinim atachtonim v'chitzonim hamim orderim b'shas hagavuros is gavros adinim at time when the dinim some problem down below with us and it brings on more dinim shall ene zer anpen of the eyes zer anpen. So we're talking about zer anpen. Kul and mistatrim, all of them are hidden, or they hide themselves away. Uborchim ba'es gilui or HaKesser, when the light of Kesser starts shining on them, they vanish or they run away. So the pasuk im tagvia kenesher. That's the concept. If you lift yourself up like you're an eagle, v'im bein kochavim sim kinacho, and you're that high, mishon aridecha, from that place I'm going to bring you down. So this is what he says over here. When we're talking about the lower dinim, now what does he mean? Dinim tachtonim shehim misordim besod ha'anayim, which are aroused in the secret of the eyes as their anpen. Dechsev im tagvia kenesher, if you lift yourself up like an eagle. V'im ben kochavim simki nachon, that phrase again. Sheyesh achiza b'dinim afidu be'ozim v'chitzonim. So there is achiza the dinim. So he says, and when he says dinim and then he says chitzonim, he's talking to somebody else. The question is, what exactly does it mean by chitzonim? Something, it means that something that is outside of its silus. So it means we still need a good definition of what chitzonim. I said it means false ideas or false images or false, trying to get the right word, imaginations. Amar Misham, so he says from there, he says, Oriducha, from that place, I'm going to wind up bringing you down. So he's a Rabikol Bechinas Borachas, so all of this idea of running, or escaping, amidst the terrors and hiding yourself, besod or HaKesser, which is the secret of the light of Kesser Ad Khan. So let's go down below. There is something here. It wasn't that easy for me to put it together. Let's try to get down here really low. There we go. He says number lamed over here. He says Rei Ba'or Yakar. He says Shemisayim Sham Babir Nosif. So he concludes there with an additional understanding or explanation. Because Shlosha Pesukim Hanal Vizel Lashona. He said Uvamakom Acher Nirish HaKachavana B'Pasuk V'Hachayus Rotzav V'Shuv. So he's going back. He says there are three things he wants to talk about. This is the first one. She'ein Lechem Lachayus Hasaga Lamala. So I usually think that I looked up the word Hasaga, and I had trouble getting it in the dictionary. Said I have a good word. It means like a reaching, a place to approach. That's what I think it means. Ka'ayin Omra, like it says like this. Where does it say this? Let me see. There we go. He says V'im Ratz Libacha Shuv La'achor. So he says, if your heart is running, go backwards. What does it mean? The Pirish or Rashbi, so the Rashbi explains on this, the Pasuk Baruch El Mekomecho, this which we have here in the Idra, it comes from the Idra Zuta, he says, and he gives a site reference. So he says, V'efsher, and it's possible, She'ad Khan, Chosam, he concludes Sayim HaSifra D'Tzniut of the Zohar, so he's concluding the Sifra D'Tzniut here to explain Tikkuni HaKeser, the Tikkunim of the Keser. So he said Kagon Osius Yud Kei Vav. We had that before, the Yud Kei Vav. V'Hashgachos Ayin HaElyon the Keser. Those two ideas, those are the Yud Kei Vav, and then also the Hashgacha that's coming from the Keser. V'hashta Mekan Mefarish V'azel HaSifra D'Tzniut, and now it's Tikkuni Zer Anpin, the Tikkunim that are going to take place in Zer Anpin. L'kach Omer B'Sifra D'Tzniut again. He said Shlosha Kesuvos Elu, Kesuvim Elu. These three different Pesukim are what we call Kesuvim. V'Hachayos Baruch L'Kol El Mekomecho, so that including that phrase, he says, Im Tagvia, if you lift yourself up so high, Kolomar, She'ein Hasaga B'Tikkunim, the Keser HaNizkal Klal. So there's really no, I think Hasaga means really understanding or approaching, and the Tikkunim of the Keser HaNizkal Klal that we mentioned at all. You can't get near it at all. Im Hiyos Afal Gav Shepirish Im Hiyos. So he says, adds in Afal Gav Shepirish Bechem HaSifra Tzniuta in Yonim V'Tikkunim Im Kol Zeh Ein Bechem Hasaga Klal. Never really reaches an understanding or what that is. Over here in Lamed Aleph, then we're going to go to the next one, my mistake. Let's go back up to number Gimel. Here's number Gimel. He says, Rei V'Pirish HaTalmud, look over there in the Pirish HaTalmud. Shabir Khan Al Piha Eitz Chaim, so explains, according to Eitz Chaim here, Shabir Pasuk Zechat Besot Zer Anpin, which Zer Anpin, the Klipos, Shabaratzilos, Sharotzala Alos, what does this Klipa want to do? So we're saying to this Klipa, wants to enter in or to go up, Laham Shechatikunis Sa'aras Be'erik Anpin. Now, this is like another story here. He says to what? To scream downwards, Tikunis Sa'aros, the Tikunim of the Sa'aros Be'erik Anpin. Now, I'm assuming he says, the Erik Anpin, the Klipa. So what does this mean? Wants to extend it, Laham Shech, or to pull down from that Vahainu, Bechinas in Tagvia Kanesher. That's what it is. The Klipa is trying to get up, trying to raise up, and he says to where? To approach the hair. I think he means the hair on the head of Zer Anpin. And if that would happen, the world would be destroyed. So he promises Hashem that he's going to bring them down from that position. Ein Sham. V'rei od ma shabir sham b'sod kolchavim ein sham. So look what they say when they talk about the kolchavim. Why that? V'al derek zecher b'rei gam b'yof shah, which he says, what? Shabir kan vidarko, Dairi kan b'shas his gavras adenim. So that's a situation. There's been a lot of averas down below. Is what explains im hagtagvia kanasher. V'him ben kochavim simki nacho misham aridecho. He says, Ainu ayin masha kazach Rabbeinu zecher be'etz chaim. Al pasuk zev al derek zecher yisparish kam ki b'shas his gavras haklipos. When the klipos become so powerful, he says, Oz. Uhazman shazer anpin the klipa. That's the time when zer anpin of the klipa. So we got into this idea that zer anpin the klipa here. The Chatzilus wrote to the Chagvia Atmobile Alkos the Chavonis Atzilus the Elyonos the Atzilus. So go back. He said wrote to the Chagvia Atmol elevate himself. V'la'alos Elyonos the Atzilus wants to get all the way up into Atzilus, the top part, the most the Elyon, the most the Elyon, so that I'm thinking that this is Lashon. I'm trying to get the word imitation. The most appear as if the Elyon. V'Kodesh Baruch Hu mashbil k'moshen emem b'sham oridachanu masham. That's where I will bring you down to that place. Now we have a couple of other things. Let's see how much time we got left. We have a little time. So let's look over here at up to the top. We'll restart reading again, and we'll go to number Lamed Aleph, and we'll see what we could do with number Bet, Lamed Bet. He says, starting like this, he said, Rabbi Ferish HaTalmud, Shabir Kan Al Piha Eitz Chaim. What's he say? Shabir Pasuk Zech Episode Zer Anpin the Klipa. Shabaratzilas Sharotza La'alos. So he's, first of all, he's telling me a chedesh, a little bit. He wants to say that there's a klipa in Etzilus, where by the zer anpin of Etzilus, the same thing would be by the malchus of Etzilus, sherotzu la'alos, that wants to go up higher. Now we have a number lamed aleph on this. I think there's a little something here. Looking down below, it says like this: V'yesh lamer od mas shayach inyan zekan. Now, so what is this doing here? Says the Pirush. Halo lefiha Pirush Talmud, according to the Pirush of the Talmud, the El, he says where? He says Ire kan be'inin spheres yisod. That what's talking about is the inyan of spheres yisod. Ein sham, not the zer anpin of Etzilus. Ma shayach kan aliyas haklipos. So why are we talking about this? But he says that he thinks this is a doichich. Lomer the Marich of Mili Ketani V'yesh Lomer Od. He says the Mili Ketani. So I'm not sure what Mili Ketani means. I assume it means just talking. I'm not sure what he meant by that. So let's go on back up to where we were. That was Lamed Aleph, and let's go find it. He says, read after number Lamed Aleph, Sherotza la'alos v'lahamshik. Let me get this back again. Okay. Again, Sherotza la'alos v'lahamshik tikunis aros be'erik adben de klipa, the haile bechinas im tagvia kenesher, v'oz hoya nechra v'olam, because if in other words, everything would be false. That's really what the Chitzoni mean. It's a false image. Let's look at number Lamed Bet. Has a little arichas to it. Let's see if we have time to look at it. He said, if a parish Talmud Sham Ha'utik, a divri that copied or maybe corrected a divri Eitz Chaim become a shivushim with a bunch of different mistakes over there. V'lechein navi kan lashon ha'etz chaim sham v'zel lashon b'delok. V'yinin ki nei b'chatzilus hakadosh baruch hu tikun b'kula. Was hakadosh baruch hu was besaking all of it. V'az nisaknu b'chinas asa'aros the Erik Anpin. Now back to the hairs of the head of Erik Anpin again. Beresha delay on his head. So in other words, that grows out. So I'll come with the mazel, he says. V'nimsa abba ve'ima mekusim toch osam asa'aros. They're hidden underneath these hairs. Hem livnois koslo hivor. Let me see if I share him the Lavonos. Okay, that's it. It's Lavonos kasalig. They're white like snow, white snow. So these are the hairs on the head of Eric Anpin. Yaakov ish cholok, and because of this, and it's not really explained how this works out, that Yaakov Avinu becomes the ish cholok, which means smooth or hairless. Kikuvar nisakim called the Chatzilus because all of Atzilus is already put together. Because the aros heim the and all the saros are up above that. He is down below the level of the hair that falls down off of the head. Yaakov remains like this, and a smooth-skinned man, comparing him to Esav, his brother. Shu zer anpin the Atzilus, the Kedusha is the zer anpin of the Atzilus of Kedusha. He says Avach Beklipa. When we talk about that, the klipa, the tzilus, so first of all, he's telling us the klipa in tzilus, which would be associated with zun, is the tzilus shadach b'choyu tikun ele b'zer v'nuk shehem esav v'ishto. So he says that the tikun, the tzilus, shadach choyu tikun, the only place you needed the tikun for was because the place I had to be doing with zun, b'shehem zun on the other side, which is caused Esav and his wife. Even so, therefore, all of these hairs, which covered Abba Ve'ima, the Kedusha, Sham Heim Be'esav, Shehu Zer Anpin de Klipa, also known as the Zer Anpin de Klipa, V'gam Shehem Sumkim Kavardo, and even we see also that they're red, like a rose, like a red rose. Red rose. V'tam sheyatza admonin. This is the reason why he came out all red. There is sayer like a coat of hair on his body. Now, what was the reason for that? Because it really represents the Esav of the Klipa. In other words, the Klipa Zer Anpen. V'hi Klipa the Chatzilus rotzas of his damos makif b'fnei Adam, his takem kula. Let's go over those words. The v'hidach of the Klipa the Tzilus rotzas of what it wants. Lihidamos, to make himself into an image, like to appear as if kakuf, like a monkey, bifnei Adam in the presence of a man. I compare him to a man. Lihistakim kula, to really try to get himself completely and totally together. Af be'erik anpen kedugmas atzila, the atzila, so also even in Erik Anpen, similar to who, I don't know, Kedugmas Atzilus. I mean, Erik Anpin is Atzilus. Alos ad sham Erik Anpin delay, and it wants to go up. Looking at that klipa has its own Erik Anpin. It wants to go up to that place. Once it gets to that place, the hamshech b'sham b'pechidas sa'aros, to bring down from that place. He's talking about his own Erik Anpin. B'chidas saros kamosh heim b'kedusha. Same kind of idea that you would see in Kedusha. He says, the al zera v'rasod ramos b'pasuk, and in this secret, this is what the pasuk is talking about. He says what? He says in Ovadia, he said, im tagvia kenesher, v'hamshik oso masaros me'erek anpen shaloch. So he says up there, in order to what? Lahamshech osam sa'aros, to pull down, or the shafin maybe, from those sa'aros, me'erik anpin shaloch, which I guess means of the klipa. B'sham aridecho no Hashem. But higher than that, in the area of falseness and false images, he says, aridecho no Hashem. Ki im chas v'sholem, ya'ala osach v'chatikun v'chatzilus, ha'tameh. So he said, "Ki im chas v'sholem bi ala osach hatikunim b'chatzilus hatame." They could really elevate this into the silus of tuma. Gam be'erik anpen of the tuma v'ava v'ima delay. This is the destruction. This is the definition of the destruction of the world. So he's making a statement, and the world, as we see, is full of falseness, false ideas, false images. He said, this is the work of Eitzah, that he's not going to make it all the way up there. Let's go on. That was number Lamed Bet. After Lamed Bet, we come to number Lamed Gimel, and he says, Ray Od Mashabir Sham Besod Kochavim Ein Sham. What's it talking about when it says Kochavim? Now he's bringing up a lot of things that we don't normally deal with. So let's look at number, this is what? Number Lamed Gimel. Number Lamed Gimel down below in the notes. Number Lamed Gimel says, Ray V'ferish HaTalmud Shop, Zelashona. B'diluk. V'im bein kochavim sim kinecha, and between the stars you will place your nest, our phrase. Let me see, I lost the place. In bein kochavim sim kinecha, pirish ki hine yedua. Masha amra Rabbi Zohar, what the Zohar says. What did the Zohar say? Shesod ha-kochavim, when you're talking about the stars, we have stars up above, but the secret, I guess, of appearance and the sustenance of the Kochavim, Heim B'Rekiah HaShmini, they're in the 8th Rekiah. Shehu Sod HaBina, number 8 goes with the concept of Bina, if you're counting from the bottom. Ubein Kochavim, and between the stars, I don't know what's that phrase, that's a phrase in V'Yetzei. I don't know where that is, Zohar and V'Yetzei. But Sola Lomer Sa'aras, the Eric Anpin, we're still talking about this. Ein Sham. But Sarg Bir Ulai Chosech of Peloshin Sham, so maybe the lectural language we're missing over there. He's a Begam Yev Sham Aravos Lashonos Gedivrich Eitz Chaim. So there's a lot of mixture of the different kind of languages over there. Let's go on. That was number Lamed Gimel. Number Lamed Gimel, I think, let's go to number Dalet. I think we went through Lamed Gimel one time, so let's go to number Dalet. So he said, Rei b'pirash meshula l'fi gra. What's a gra session? Is bar kan l'fi darko hanal. What was he talking about? The gavos gavini anayim. And the Etzlo, this says, Gvul v'afapai ha'enayim, it brings a boundary to the eyelids. Shelo ya'avruhu v'chol ankles, the histakel l'malav v'reish lo isya the ayin sham. That's actual quote, that each person not enter in or go up. La'alos, the histakel, to go up and be able to look at the reish lo isya the ayin sham. V'lezecha v'bira, the histakel l'malav v'reish lo isya the ayin sham. I'm sorry. V'lezecha v'bira kan, and this he explains over here. Zer Anpin wrote to the Hagvia Hanayim Lamala. What he wants to do is look, so to speak, at Eric Anpin, at the eyes of Eric Anpin. Megabas Anayim, so he said, wrote to the Hagvia Hanayim Lamala, Megabas Anayim, to bring his eyes upwards or be able to look past the eyebrows. So here's the concept in Eric Anpin that the eyebrows are a gateway or a block in some way. Then it uses that phrase. And between the stars, you're going to put your nest. Misham aridecha, I'm going to take you down from there. Kolomar, you want to get up from the level that you're at, which is, I guess, the eyes, he's talking about here, the eyes of Zer Anpin. You want to be like an eagle and fly past. Now he wants to use this phrase, Reshalo Isyada, which is the Gar of Atik. He wants to get past there to look more into the Panemius of the pathway to the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, Shehu L'mala b'makom Sa'aras HaGolgolta. This is up above the place of the hairs of the skull, of the head, Sa'aras HaGolgolta, HaNekroim Kochavim, which are called by what name? They're called by the name stars, or planets. Oz Ne'ebach B'Sham or Ridacha. Then from there we say we're going to bring you down from there. So a lot of different ideas over here in this piece as we're coming towards the end of it. He says, number, hey, that's right of time. That's it. That's the time. Thank you for learning with me today. Call to